When they arrive, Gon looks at Kite's body sitting still on the floor, and then tells Neferpitou to heal him. Neferpitou tells him that Kite is already dead. He was trying to grasp Neferpitou's words. As if to confirm them, the body then falls over in a black and white sequence with disoriented shaky cam and step printing that further accentuates Gon's state of shock. Neferpitou explains that Kite died in their initial fight, and that she's unable to revive him. Meanwhile, Gon's eyes get progressively more filled with tears as the fact at hand is starting to sink in. She then summons Dr. Blythe to heal her broken arm. As Gon notices this, he desperately clings onto a last hope that she might save Kite after all, but it never happens. When Neferpitou's arm has been healed, the status dynamic has once again shifted dramatically. Gon is on his knees mourning and pleading for help, while Neferpitou stands straight up while looking down at him. She enters an attack position towards Gon and says, "Gon, I'm sorry to say this, but I must kill you." When Gon realizes that Neferpitou isn't going to save Kite after all, his mourning and pleading is instantly replaced by menace. A seed of deadly red nen blooms out inside of him, and the black and red smoke aura starts emitting from his body. As this happens, the score raises the key as if to emulate Gon's response to Neferpitou's offensive stance. Neferpitou reacts with fear. He gets up on his feet and his aura increases as it sucks in the surrounding air, creating strong winds that quake the room. Meanwhile, the score crescendos with increasingly denser and more chaotic instrumentation to ultimately arrive at a bombastically apocalyptic melody. Neferpitou is unable to grasp what stands before her, overwhelmed by the same Lovecraftian horror that she herself displayed earlier. With a shaky close-up on Gon's darkly shadowed face, he thinks to himself that he doesn't care if it ends here, and his pupils turn black. He has lost all hope and is ready to die, so he decides to sacrifice all his life energy for this last fight. The room is engulfed in stormy darkness as he undergoes an intense transformation. Neferpitou's worries about Gon's threat have been confirmed. She realizes that his power is now equal to the king's. Gon screams out to Neferpitou that he will kill her, making an assuring statement rather than a threat, and his stormy smoke of black aura gets directed towards her. Intending to take him down in one strike, she shoots toward her target, but he evades the attack and disappears from the room as if he was only smoke. He has transformed into a fully grown man, surrounded by a flame of golden nen and his hair floating up in a black and red stream. Looking at his own hand with a somber face, he tells her that they will take it outside, since he doesn't want to destroy the place of Kite's death. Neferpitou was shivering from fear after seeing an adult form of Gon with that much power level. Neferpitou follows Gon outside the building, and it concludes that Gon forced his body to mature at the point that he can defeat the royal guard. Gon lost all his sense and he just wanted to kill Neferpitou. As they slowly walk through the forest, her will to kill him grows even stronger. We get close-ups of her hand and legs aggressively tensing up, and then a close-up of her eye as it viciously sharpens on Gon's back. She jumps through the air. Gon evades the attack and looks down at her before kicking her in the stomach, tossing her meters straight up into the air. Gon's kick was so fast and powerful that Neferpitou didn't get any time to defend it. He then charges up his Jajankan, to which the score responds with shrieking violins built up with chaotically crescendoing horns and percussions. The charge-up gets crosscut with Neferpitou falling helplessly, almost comically spinning through the air like a rag doll. The moment she comes down, Gon punches her directly in the face with his Jajankan, and his aura emanates a big explosion. While flying through the air, her body penetrates several trees and rocks before stopping in front of a large tree. As she expresses her deep happiness for being the one for him to kill, it is starkly contrasted with the sight of Gon's intimidating massiveness approaching her from the woods, followed by a close-up of her utterly destroyed face. Following this, we see Killua hurrying through the forest after having found out about Pu's deception. Killua uses Godspeed to reach Gon fast. He witnesses the large golden light of Gon's Jajankan in the distance as it lays down regular booming blows. The golden light keeps glowing and the area near them was nearly destroyed. The area was shaking because of the Jajankan effect. What he sees when he finally arrives is not a fight but a slaughter, the silhouette of a large, monstrous Gon hammering his fist into the shattered face of Neferpitou, while everything gets more drenched in her blue blood for each blow. Once again, his face is avoided to emphasize Killua's perspective on the situation. When the final blow has been made, Gon stands up and looks down at Neferpitou's body and says, "Kite, I finished the job, the way you taught me to," while we get a close-up of his fist dripping with blood. As Killua speaks to him, he turns around, revealing a cold, bleak face drenched in tears. Killua got tensed after seeing the situation, with Gon sorrowfully staring at his bloodied hands. Neferpitou's headless body suddenly starts moving, instinctually set on eliminating Gon at all cost. All of the surroundings fade to black, and our three characters are depicted in a minimalistic black and white stylization. Neferpitou's body rises and strikes against Gon, while Killua rushes to push him to the side. The body still succeeds to sever his arm, and the red blood spouting from his wound violently contrasts against the black and white. Neferpitou's great devotion to the king allowed Terpsichore to move their corpse, utilizing it as a puppet and chasing its prey. Gon was shocked to see Neferpitou's headless body moving on her own. Gon says to Killua that he's happy because now he's the same as Kite was back then, feeling that he's been redeemed, an extremely self-destructive and even masochistic statement. Gon hit Neferpitou's headless body with full power. The black and white sequence ends, Gon jumps off to grab his arm and then penetrates Neferpitou's body with it. He says that she can have it, he doesn't need it anymore. He produces a final Jajunkin out of his bleeding wound, and as it charges up the score reaches a happy closure, eerily responding to Gon's self-destructive sense of redemption. Killua cries out with all his might to his friend, who looks back on him with somber eyes as if saying goodbye before they all get engulfed by the explosion of the attack.